Ain't nobody that don't like a good mystery, and especially one that has to do with a lot of loot, as in lost treasures. And damn, if there ain't a lot of 'em, from crown jewels and Confederate gold to lost shipwrecks and buried treasure. The current estimate is that there's anywhere from 60 to over $100 billion in lost treasure out there, be it in sunken ships, buried, or just something that just went missing. So pop open a beer or light up. But let's get moving along, and hopefully by the end of this video, you'll probably want to go log on to Amazon and buy yourself a shovel. Now we all understand that shit goes missing and pirates hide their treasures, as a lot of miners did in the old Southwest. But when one of your ships sink and it's filled to the brim with Aztec gold, you gotta just be crying in your soup as you watch your ship sink slowly beneath the waves. In what is known as a Night of Sorrows, Spanish conquistadors were getting their asses kicked by the natives, and they were in full retreat when their ship, with all the stolen gold, sunk. And the Spanish, try as they did, just couldn't recover the gold. Interestingly enough, though, one of the gold bars was dug up by a construction worker in Mexico City, and the bar is part of that sunken treasure ship. So yeah, if you're interested, you'll need a shovel and permission from the Mexican government to dig. And I'm guessing maybe a backhoe would help a bit too. Now, I've mentioned things go missing, and yeah, I've lost my car keys a couple of times, but I have to say, how the fuck does an entire room of gold just up and disappear? Constructed in 1714, the room was covered in gold plates and gifted to Peter the Great, the first emperor of a united Russia, and it was placed in his wife's palace, known as the Catherine Palace, because that was his wife's name. The cost for the original amber room has a wide estimate, ranging from anywhere from 150 million to almost a $500 million. And while we know the Nazis tore it all apart and shipped it off to Berlin during the Second World War, what happened to it after is anybody's guess. But a lot of people believe it was melted down to pay for Germany's war effort. But I am guessing somebody somewhere has a pretty nice room that they don't show to anybody, and they probably bask in the pleasure of knowing that they have one of the world's greatest missing treasures. But that is my only opinion, and it's an opinion based on an informed fact that there's an awful lot of Nazi gold that is still buried in somebody's backyard. But don't worry, my fellow Americans, we got our treasure too, like all the Confederate gold that was never recovered after the Civil War. Some of that could be buried in your backyard, because the Confederates, they not only lost the war, they seem to have misplaced all the gold they had. All the gold and silver the Confederates had was put on a train, because they wanted to move it to a safer location outside of Richmond. But the train was robbed, and who robbed it and where the gold is? No one knows, and it is an enduring mystery. And for another enduring mystery, we now travel west of the Confederate States, across the Pacific to the island of Japan. Yet the treasure we're looking for is here on American soil. To understand the treasure, you need to understand who Goro Masamune was. Born in 1260 AD, a couple of hundred years before America was even a glint in anyone's eye, Goro was a master sword maker and is known as the greatest sword maker to have ever fashioned a sword. And one of his swords in particular, the Hanjo Masamune sword, is worth perhaps a grand sum of $20 million, and it went missing after World War II when it was given to the Americans. So if you've got your granddaddy's World War II souvenirs hanging on your wall, well, one of them might just set you up for the rest of your life. And you don't even need a shovel. Be it swords, lost gold, crown jewels, or whatever, there's a lot of money out there waiting to be found. And damn it, for the cost of a shovel, some of it could be yours. Unless I find it first. Happy hunting, friends. Lost treasures, my friend. Oh, I'm telling you right now that in a in another life, if I had the choice, I'd get into being a treasure hunter. And I often think in one of my past lives, I was probably one of those old fucks that lived out in the desert of Arizona looking for gold mines. Yeah, there's some interesting stories there, by the way. Anyway, we all have our wishful fantasies, don't we? Difference between my fantasies and, well, that's all they are, fantasies. And I have a lot of respect for people that are really true to life treasure hunters. Yeah, that's exciting work, I would guess. Fulfilling work, I would guess. Better than spending your life as a maintenance worker. Should have been a goddamn treasure hunter. Okay, I'm just mumbling. I got really nothing to add, except this was a fun video to do. Like videos like this usually are. You get to thinking while you're doing them. Man, maybe I should go buy a shovel and start digging. But then again, I can't afford a damn shovel. Not these days. Out of here. Go look for my gold.